Hello and welcome back to the GCP-Mindset channel. Today, we're laying the groundwork for understanding one of the most critical processes in healthcare, clinical trials. These aren't just scientific experiments. They're meticulously planned journeys that bring new medicines, vaccines, and devices to patients who need them. If you've ever wondered how a drug goes from a lab bench to your local pharmacy, or how medical innovations are safely brought to light, this episode is for you. We're going to break down the entire process, from the fundamental principles that govern these studies to the various phases a treatment goes through, and finally, all the specialized services that make it all possible. So, let's dive in and build your foundational knowledge of clinical trials.
Welcome to the GCP-Mindset channel and all topics on clinical research.
First, let's talk about the bedrock, the core principles that uphold the integrity and ethics of every single clinical trial. Think of these as the rules of the road. The absolute cornerstone is good clinical practice, or GCP. This isn't just a suggestion, it's an international ethical and scientific quality standard. It dictates how trials are designed, conducted, recorded, and reported. Its primary goal: to protect the rights, safety, and well-being of the people participating in the trial, and to ensure the data collected is credible and reliable. Without GCP, you really can't conduct a clinical trial. Closely related and equally vital is the role of the Ethics Committee, or Institutional Review Board, the EC or IRB. Before a single patient can be enrolled, an independent EC or IRB must review and approve the entire trial protocol, including how patients will be informed and asked for consent. They are the guardians of patient safety and ethical conduct. Then there's regulatory compliance. Clinical trials operate within strict legal frameworks. Every country has health authorities, like the FDA in the US, the EMA in Europe, or the PMDA in Japan, and you must adhere to their specific laws, regulations, and guidelines. This includes everything from how you submit your trial for approval to how you report results and adverse events. In today's digital age, data protection and privacy are non-negotiable. Regulations like GDPR in Europe or HIPAA in the US dictate how sensitive personal and health-related data of trial participants must be collected, processed, and stored to ensure their privacy and confidentiality. To guarantee the quality of the trial, we have quality assurance, or QA, and quality control, or QC. QA sets up the systems and processes to ensure the trial follows the protocol, GCP, and regulations. QC involves the actual checks and balances within those processes to verify that everything is being done correctly. And finally, a more modern approach, risk-based quality management. This is about being proactive. It involves identifying potential risks to the trial's quality or patient safety before they become problems, and then putting strategies in place to mitigate them. It's about smart resource allocation to protect the most critical aspects of the trial. These principles form the non-negotiable foundation. Now, let's move on to how a potential new treatment progresses through different stages. Clinical trials aren't a single event. They're a carefully orchestrated journey, typically broken down into distinct phases. Each phase has unique objectives and brings us closer to understanding if a new treatment is safe and effective. Before human trials even begin, we have preclinical research. This happens in the lab using cell cultures, tissues, or animal models. The goal here is to get an initial sense of whether a compound has the desired biological activity and if there are any early safety red flags. Sometimes, after preclinical work, there's an optional phase 0. These are very small, exploratory studies, sometimes with as few as 10 to 15 healthy volunteers. They use very low doses of the drug to understand how it's absorbed, distributed, metabolized, and eliminated by the human body, giving early pharmacokinetic data without the risks of higher doses. Then comes phase 1. This is the exciting first-in-human stage, typically involving 20 to 100 healthy volunteers, or sometimes patients with the target condition. The primary goal here is safety. Researchers are looking to determine a safe dosage range and identify common side effects. Efficacy is usually a secondary objective at this stage. If a drug passes phase 1, it moves to phase 2. Now we're looking at a larger group of patients, usually hundreds, who actually have the condition the drug is intended to treat. The focus shifts to evaluating the drug's effectiveness while still closely monitoring safety. This phase often helps refine the optimal dosage and may be split into two: A, proof of concept, and 2B, dose ranging. The biggest hurdle for many new treatments is phase 3. These are large-scale studies involving hundreds to thousands of patients, often conducted across multiple centers and even multiple countries. The main objectives are to confirm the drug's effectiveness, continue monitoring side effects in a broader population, and compare it to existing standard treatments or a placebo. Success in phase 3 is generally required for regulatory approval. And finally, if a drug or device gets approved, it enters phase 4, also known as post-marketing surveillance. This happens after the product is on the market. These studies continue to monitor its long-term safety and effectiveness in a much larger, more diverse population. They can also explore new indications or compare the drug with other therapies. So, from lab to market, it's a step-by-step process, each phase building upon the last. But who actually does all this work? Let's look at the incredible array of services involved. Conducting a clinical trial is a massive undertaking that requires a diverse range of expertise. It's rarely done by a single entity. Instead, a network of specialized services and functions comes together to make it happen. You'll often find these services provided by pharmaceutical companies, biotech firms, academic institutions, or specialized contract research organizations, known as CROs. Let's break them down by stages of the trial. A, early stage and planning. Before any trial can even start, you need feasibility assessment. Can this trial actually be done? Do we have enough potential patients? Are there enough qualified investigators and sites? Study design and protocol development. This is where the blueprint of the trial is created, defining the objectives, how many patients, what will be measured, and how the data will be analyzed. Medical writing. Professionals who translate scientific and medical information into clear, precise documents like the protocol, informed consent forms, and eventually, the clinical study report. Biostatistics. These are the data scientists of clinical trials. They design the statistical aspects, determine how many patients are needed to get meaningful results, and perform all the complex data analysis. Investigator selection and site qualification. Identifying and evaluating the doctors and clinics capable of running the trial, ensuring they have the right experience and resources. Budgeting and contracts. Managing the financial planning, negotiating agreements with all participating sites and vendors. Sponsorship as a service for smaller companies, a CRO or other organization might legally act as the trial sponsor, taking on the significant regulatory responsibilities. Legal representation, especially crucial for international trials. Having legal representation in specific regions like the EU or Switzerland is often a regulatory requirement. B. Trial operations and execution. Once planned, the trial needs to be run day to day. Project management. This is the conductor of the orchestra. They oversee the entire trial, ensuring it stays on track, within budget, and meets all quality standards. Regulatory affairs. These specialists manage all communication and submissions to regulatory authorities, ensuring ongoing compliance throughout the trial's life cycle. Clinical monitoring. This is a vital oversight function. On-site monitors visit the clinical sites regularly to ensure the trial is being conducted correctly, patient data is accurate, and regulations are being followed. Remote monitoring uses technology to review data and documents from a distance. Centralized statistical monitoring analyzes aggregated data across all sites to spot potential issues or trends that might indicate problems. Data management, electronic data capture, EDC, designing and implementing systems to collect and manage all the trial data electronically, and then ensuring that data is clean, accurate, and complete. Technology solutions. This includes specific platforms like EDC for data collection, EPRO, electronic patient-reported outcomes, for patients to report their experiences directly, and IWRS, IXRS, interactive web response system, and interactive exchange response system, for managing patient randomization and drug supply. Document management, keeping all trial-related paperwork meticulously organized and accessible, which is critical for audits and inspections. Central lab services. Often, patient samples, like blood or urine, are sent to a single central lab to ensure all tests are performed consistently and results are comparable across different sites. Logistics, depot, import. managing the entire supply chain of the investigational drug or device, from manufacturing to storage, distribution to sites, and even importing or exporting across borders. Investigator, patient, reimbursement. Handling payments to the clinics for their work and reimbursing trial participants for their time and expenses. Medical monitoring. A medically qualified professional oversees patient safety during the trial, reviewing adverse events and providing medical guidance to the study sites. Pharma device safety, pharmacovigilance, device vigilance. Dedicated teams collect, assess, and report any adverse effects of the drug or device, ensuring patient safety is continuously monitored and reported to authorities. Training as a service, providing essential training to all staff involved in the trial, investigators, nurses, data entry personnel, to ensure everyone understands the protocol and their role. C. Post-trial activities. Even after the last patient visit, there's still crucial work to be done. Clinical study report, CSR, writing. All the data and results are compiled into a comprehensive, detailed report, which is a key document for regulatory submissions. Publication and dissemination. Sharing the trial's findings through scientific journal articles or presentations at conferences to contribute to medical knowledge. There's also a growing emphasis on transparency by listing results on public registries. Trial closeout, the formal process of ending the study at all sites, ensuring all data is locked and submitting final reports to regulatory bodies. Archiving, all essential trial documents and data must be stored securely for many years, sometimes decades, as required by regulations, to allow for future audits or inquiries. As you can hear, bringing a new medical treatment to patients is an incredibly complex and collaborative endeavor. It involves years of research, rigorous testing, strict ethical guidelines, and a vast network of highly specialized professionals and services. From the foundational principles of GCP to the meticulous phases of clinical development and the detailed orchestration of dozens of individual services, every piece of the puzzle is essential for ensuring that new therapies are both safe and effective. We hope this episode has given you a solid foundation for understanding the remarkable journey of clinical trials. Join us next time as we delve deeper into specific aspects of this fascinating field. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel for more content on clinical research.